Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. This is part 2 of It's Not a Bent Bumper but a Rotted Right Rear, with my attempt at raising the roof and wall to create clearance for collapsed crevices, then figure out future framing. J&K, you gonna join with us today? Alright, I forgot to get out the camera and record this, but I had got the hydraulic jack set out, flattened out some ground, stacked up some cinder blocks, and jacked this thing up and got it on top of the cinder blocks to level this out a little better. But as I did it, this wall started crunching in again, and I said, oh yeah, that's right, it's missing the bottom plate to the wall back about this far, and there's also that 5/8 inch gap. Well, I just happen to have a piece that looks about 5/8 inch, whatever, but I went ahead and had a couple of these pieces done. It's a little late in the day, so I really can't get the table saw out, but I was able to make me a couple pieces and a joint to connect the bottom plate up. So now the bottom plate is ready to squeeze that up in there, and then theoretically I can lift this whole thing up, because what was happening was this thing was pulling out away from the door to the point where I couldn't close the door and latch it anymore. And the only way to, like I said, to fix it really is to get this bottom plate and push it into the door before I set it back down, so as I lift up on this, it doesn't separate. All right, let's see what happens. All right, here's a good idea that's working. I got the flat bar in here and got up in here and pried it up enough to get it started up in there, and then I'm working it down this way and pushing it up into here every little bit. And just a little bit at a time. Flat bar down some more. And lift and push into the flat bar. Put it down some more. And it just keeps on going up into there. How about that? I think that'll work. Boy, oh boy, I think I got it. I used the 2x4 as a little slammer. Once I got it started a little over halfway, got it creeped up in there and lined up. Now I'm ready to screw it down and call that a pretty much a permanent job, really. I don't see any reason why I need to take that off again. Ooh, another little trick and thought before I bolt this down. Get up in here with this and hammer this, make sure it's slid all the way over up into here good and tight, so that the gap is as tight as it can be for now. I wonder if I can get it any better than that. I don't know, it's pretty good. I'll leave it for now. Gives me any trouble when I lift it, maybe I'll slide it over some more. Okay, let's get a recap from the inside. I got my floor joist there. I got the wall raised up just a little bit off of there to make up for where the floor is supposed to be. It's technically an 1/8 of an inch short, but the bottom plate's the right size as far as I know. And it's going to end up tying into there. And you see that one there looks a little low, and the problem I'm having is I'm gonna just go ahead and tear out all that right there and remake it. And maybe my problem I'll show you outside. Okay, you saw that it should be within an 1/8 of an inch of where it's supposed to be. I come out here and I tore out all that corner stuff they did so that we can see right through here. And anyway, so this right here is pattern on it's actually lined up all right. But anyway, point is though, is you come down here and look at that gap. It's like near an inch. Like this whole thing needs to go up an inch. But you look at the bottom plate and it's, you know, in theory lined right up, right? And it's the same, kind of the same thing on the door. There's a big gap up there. And this bottom plate, of course, this thing here is actually going to come up a... yeah, that thing there is going to come up. Yeah, okay, yeah. See, that bottom plate is back down 5/8 of an inch too low again. I wonder why. I'm fixing to just take this piece out. It's 2.5 incher. Take this piece out, use it for the other side, and make me the 3.25 incher that I made on the other side to make sure this thing lines up. And the other thing I'm thinking about doing is getting up in here with a brace. Now, especially now that I got a bunch of jacks freed up, getting on the floor, putting a beam up there, and jacking up from the inside this whole section so I can get this piece out, line this corner up, and put in whatever filler I got to do. Unless this is close to the right height, and my whole problem is just the siding needs to, you know, fit up in. No, that's all the way up in there. That's all the way up in there. That got, no, that's all the way up in there. Yeah, it's all the way up in there. That's not the problem either. Well, let's just try to get a jack up inside and see what happens for fun. Well, let's get a better shot of this whole thing. Oh, this is kind of awesome, everybody. You remember that little splicing I did over here? And it's a little short up there to actually raise the roof, but I can come up under here with a big old screw and grab onto it. But watch what's happening when I grab onto it, which is still being pushed, you know, held up by the roof, where it meets back up. I mean, the ceiling joist where it meets back up with the ceiling, still holding this thing up. Anyway, look at the gap because of this sagging down, but watch this. Look at that. That, I think, when I get done jacking this up off the floor, or from the floor, I think I'm going to leave that right there for now until I get up into the ceiling and start replacing everything. Ho ho, look at that. Boy, I'm really going to have to come up in here and fix this a little later on in life, huh? Yeah, that's pretty rough looking, but I wonder if I should just keep on coming down with it, but I think that's a good spot to start, or that's a good spot to start right there. All right, let's get the jack in here. I did my best to make sure it was lined up right with the floor joist. Let's see what happens. Wouldn't you know it, because as soon as I unbolted the stairs, I step on them, drop them down. Anyway, here's what I got going on. I got the jack and the 2x4 set up inside, up against the roof brace, ready to start lifting. And I came up in here. I'm gonna take out every single screw holding this bottom plate down and connecting it to the inside joist. I'm sorry, the two joists are separated now, and this bottom plate is separated from that. As far as I can tell, every screw is out of here, and I think I'm ready to try lifting this wall up off of this so I can fit a better solid piece in there, and maybe figure out why that corner isn't lining up with the bumper. Here's what I'm talking about. See? This right here is lining up right where it's supposed to. Is this supposed to be taller? I don't know. But you can see how this thing here is just peeling out and bowing out and just acting like it needs to go up a bit. I don't know. Let's try jacking it up, see what happens. Alrighty. Let's see what happens. See if the wall lifts up or not. Oops, I've got to bring me a tool to spin this with. Oh, I think it's working. So far, so good. Now, I'm wondering if I'm going to have to put two of these, one on each end of the wall. What if I have to put two of these, one on each end of the wall? But it looks like it's working so far. Yeah, that's definitely lifting the wall up. But it's doing what I was worried about doing. It's pulling it that way. Maybe I need to move that over this way. That's probably what I should do. But I don't know what we're well, I guess I should just let that hit. No, Alright. Let's see. Well, I didn't line this up quite as good, but oh well. Is this anything? This one should be disconnected from now. Kind of floating. Sure didn't. So now what? So far, I don't think that has made much of a difference. Yeah, like I said, I might need to just do my two jacks theory. This is where I'm really gonna have a lot of fun in, and I put those way too far out this way. That's why, another reason why I want to just take this all out and kind of redo it is, that's just too much. Alright, okay. This idea is working to a point. I've got the whole thing lifted up. I had to do what I did on the outside and set me up a brace up against the stud and a jack underneath it and lift it, but I got the whole thing separated out with an 1/8 inch gap that I was expecting, so I can put that 3 1/8 inch joist up in here all the way across and at least get the wall back to level. But I still haven't figured out why the siding isn't lighting up, unless, you know what, I'm actually looking at it and I'm watching this thing go like this, go down, look at that gap get smaller. I don't know. That's coming out of here. I'm gonna figure this out again. Oh yeah. Look at the gap that creates though. Lifting up on the back of it. I'm watching this whole thing go slide sideways. That's one of the reasons why I got that up in there. Trying to lift that up. But I'm wondering if maybe I need to get up in this corner and start lifting. Look at that, man. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, I got the 3.5 incher started up, and passed 2 out of the 3 railings. But like I was saying, this collapse over here caused me a big problem. But what I realized is I think I can get a jack right here and a 2x4 bolted to the side of this, and then lift this up and just slide it in. Oh boy, this is kind of working. I only used 2 screws right there, and it kind of twisted out and fell over as I was lifting up. But sure enough, it is lifting up right up here, and this, you hear the whole thing crinkling going up a little bit. And I've only got another like 1/4 inch till I go over the frame, and then that's a good permanent repair. All right, let's see if I can do this a little bit one-handed, and you can listen, other than the wind, listen to the crinkling. Oh yeah, that was a weak spot on this RV for sure. And how am I doing on clearance? Oh, I'm over it. Good, and I can go ahead and see about tapping it in. Let's try it on camera. Am I doing it? Yes, I am officially over the frame. Sweet. All right, I got the gap pretty even with this thing popped back out and set back about where it was from the factory, because I had pushed this thing all the way over to squeeze in and try to close up that gap. And now I can put it back where I'm supposed to be, and got this here all set up. I just had to take me a block and a hammer and tap that until this here lines up. And now I believe I'm ready just to get up in there and start getting this corner straightened out. But it's probably too late in the day to do anything about it, but I gotta do something anyway. This right here, look up in here, I wonder if I got this here too short, or no, it looks like it's right about where I need to be. So I need to keep clipping that little block of wood off of there, and that'll go up into there. Put that corner right there. This thing here might miss this bottom plate just a little bit, but I can always solve that from up in there. All right, but pretty cool. Now I'm ready to just screw this thing down. I already got this thing here bolted in and sucked up, and I got the result I was looking for. Where I got this wedge now for the plywood to sit up underneath. Alrighty, okay, I got me some boards up in there, bolted in for a little bit. It's not real good. It really needs to be stapled better, but I'm gonna go ahead and try putting this piece here up over the corner just to get it to seal up a little bit, but looking a lot better than it was. Okay, I am done for the day. I didn't quite get finished. Still got to put the stairs on, but I did what I was trying to do. I got this railing up over the plywood, and it would appear that now the wall is over the floor so it's not doing that bowing out thing it was doing. And I got the trim, the panel siding back on, but again, there's still just this, I mean, good almost inch right there. Yeah, it's, I guess maybe I just might bend that over. But anyway, I did a terrible job, but I got me a couple of 1x or 2x, whatever, in the inside here, and got this bolted up. So at least it's not a gaping gap, but you can sure see light through all these holes up and down. But anyway, now I believe I could get the jack up, start lifting on it again. But this is what we got going on in here. So yeah, just went ahead and put some 2x up in here. So, one step at a time. Oh, I'm gonna have to redo this entire door. It's catching right there in the corner and not wanting to close all the way. Okay, I'm done for the day. Oh, maybe I'll straighten this out first. Make sure it looks a little better. There. Okay, it's the start of the next day. I'm trying to get on this early in case Danny calls and wants me to come up to the peanut stand with him. But anyway, I got that old rotted piece out of there, and the hardest part was all these staples sticking through these here. And staples sticking through there, I got to pull them out and get them out of the way. But I got that cut out to fit up in there. So I got a solid spot to get that piece of trim in, so I can go ahead and get this sealed up, because it's supposed to start raining tomorrow. And I'll probably have to recreate some of these. I think what I'm probably going to do is, I notice it's got this over here, so what I'll do is when I pull these out, I'll cut that one a little short and put that piece in there, so that this right here is sitting up against this here. I don't really have a good, oops, what on earth happened? There we go. I don't really have a good overlap right there, but when I put a beam going in this way, it ought to fix it up a little bit better. Okay, so let's get this thing sealed up before it rains. What I was trying to get at was how this thing here's got this here. Oh boy, look at that, just whoo. Anyway, leave the space for this here, and just put a filler in for now. But same thing, just a little short piece, filler, piece up to here, over the window, and a filler, and then I don't even know what that one's for. But anyway, maybe I'll just match this up like this and stack it up there. And the main reason why I'm thinking that, though, is because I imagine when they build this, before they put the siding on, they can just come in from the outside with staples, which is what they did right here. They just came in from the outside into here with staples. But I can't do that because I got the siding already installed. So I think I'm going to just stack it, and when I get up into here, I'll figure out another way to blend it all in. Not trying to fix it permanent, but I am trying to solve this. But anyway, I still had a draft coming in from there. I could see daylight down there the other day. On my first repair, lifting this up, but since I got this lifted up yesterday and this corner line back up, look at that, didn't even staple the weatherproofing on the back corner, and you can barely see daylight out of that. Pretty awesome. Aha, look at that, dropped right in. I had to take it back out and recut these. Man, it's still not, man, I got too much of an angle on that time. Oh, dang. Oh well, I still think I can make it work for now. No, it's actually pretty close. Yeah, like, a little aggressive, but like I said, I'll make it work. Yeah. I'm gonna end up having to do something with that later on and make it go all the way down the end. But like I said, it's a start. Alright, this is definitely not by the book, but you know, it's hard to get a good measurement here because this thing here is kind of sagging just a little bit. But what I did was, after I got this little piece built up in here, I noticed it's pushing out a little bit, but if I push in, it lifts this whole thing up a little bit. So I put this little plate in right here, nice and even, went outside and pushed, noticed it's tightening this whole corner up. So I went ahead and took and moved this up a little bit, squeezed it back in there. So now it's under a little bit of tension, and if I come out here, I think I just about got this right. And watch what happens when I push in on this corner. Here, let me zoom out. See that tightening up like that? Look at that. So, I think, should I try to get it just a little bit higher up, or do I think that's pretty good right there? I don't know. But of course, the further in I go that way, yeah, I think I got this side pretty tight. I think I'm gonna probably try that out, see what happens with it. All right, something else I'm gonna try is the corner thingy overlaps the side very little and overlaps this quite a bit. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that the siding is sticking out from the wood, or at least even with it, but better for this to stick out on the side here, and then this, you know, can have a little bit of a gap right there, as long as this, because if this wood's sticking out beyond this, it keeps it from sealing along the side. I got my staple gun out, tried to use some of the old staple holes. I got a few spots, but my staple gun ain't strong enough. I need a real, you know, staple gun, and I got one, but it's air powered. I don't have a compressor or gas for the generator to run the compressor if I had an electric compressor. Anyway, so let's see if this works. If making sure this is tucked in, because yesterday this wasn't kind of sticking out just a little bit, and it, yeah. All right, I believe I'm done with the hardest part of the job, which was cleaning all the junk out from inside of here and straightening up all these bent screw holes. Same over here, got the caulking and sealant and stuff all cleaned up along here. I'm just gonna set it on, bolt it, and use some silicone caulking this time. And once I get all the corners straightened out, because I'll probably have to pull it off again to do this back wall, and when I get this all done, then I'll go ahead and buy the actual RV sealant and do all the door seals and all these. I might even start pulling some of the windows out and redoing them too. Anyway, now time to hang that thing up and seal it. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better and went together quite easily compared to yesterday finagling with it. I went ahead and used the little rubber washers on the screws for now until I get some new a new trim piece to get up in here. I'll put the regular screws back in later on, but now it's time to get some silicone caulking, just fill in the gaps, and this ought to be sealed up, and I can play around with the doors and the stairs and then call it a day and get ready for the rain. Pretty awesome though. Maybe I'll try resetting that screw a little bit straighter. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to fill that in. So I look over there and I look over there and it looks quite similar, really. So remember, this has got 1/2 inch OSB on top for the roofing, so this is naturally going to have a little gap right there. Oh boy, I think I've got an absolutely genius idea for all these gaps in here. I'm taking this foam, cutting it out, and sticking it in all these little spots before I take my 100% silicone caulking and fill them in. That way I'm not trying to just waste a bunch of caulking and fill this in. I think that's going to work so much better and give me a little insulation too. Alright, I got all the caulking done. Went ahead and made sure I did real good. Got all the screw holes. Made sure I do real good all the way on down the seam. I know I didn't get done scraping all the old junk off and I ended up just caulking over it, but I'm running out of daylight again and I got to get this done. The same thing over on this other side. I got it good and sealed up. Same with the holes I had to make for jacking the wall up the other day. I got to come in and peel all that tape off and caulk them up as well, but I'll do that later. Now attach the stairs, make sure the door is all straightened out, and I can go ahead and start working on replacing the door. All right, check it out. I found a couple pieces of metal and I slid that up there, tossed a screw up in it to keep the water from leaking in there and falling in there, so that's taken care of now. I did a little double check and all the caulking is good on that seam. Now I do what I did here to that corner and then we're good, and you see what the difference is now. See how it's all, and that corner was a lot worse than this corner, but how it's all just crushed in and crumpled in, and they just toss these things and then put the thingy back on top of it, the Deal-Lac on top of it. Anyway, I'm gonna make that look like this, except of course cleaned up when I get around to scraping all the old sealant off. I noticed while I was doing the floor that there's a little bit of wet on the insulation right here, and so I caulked all around this window. I did the same thing, put another piece of flashing out to divert the rainwater away from the window so it doesn't just run down it. In fact, that window right there is the last one left. I do that, and then all the windows got something to divert the water off of them. Anyway, I went up there and did the first two seams, double did them up with the silicone, so there's no way that this should be leaking. This corner shouldn't be leaking. In fact, this whole corner ought to be dry now. Well, the whole thing's dry because I don't have any leaks, but I should be. Preventive maintenance is what I'm saying. I don't think I was leaking from the roof. I think I was leaking from the window. But I started getting the roof done anyway before it caused me problems, and finish up the rest of it. But it's getting late in the day, so it is time to say hey to J and K. And then of course, if I can zoom in on it, well, somewhere in there it is, stop sign. So to recap, now I've got me a plate for my floor. I've got my bottom plate and everything all framed up to the compromised top plate that I'll eventually start working on. I built that piece right there. It was a bit of trouble getting a curve in it, but I did it. So I have a solid place. And now I got me reframing all the way down. It's actually structural. And nope, I forgot. I need to put a little piece in right there and tie it in. And then that right there is compromised, so I'll replace that one there. That's actually in pretty good shape up to here. Replace this here. I just work my way up, and eventually can get that corner fixed up. Really is the next thing to do. That way when I do that, that closet will be out and I can just flip the bed out of the way and redo this whole thing, because you know I've been living for years with that kind of junk right next to my head. And ooh, I never actually got a good look in here until now. Wow, what does it look like up in here? Ooh, yeah, let's get a zoom in. Yippee skippy. Yeah, yippee skippy. Some rat turds. Wow. Okay, I just thought of something. When I'm doing this, I might want to use actually use the 2x4 instead of splitting it to make the 1.5er. I ought to leave it wide, either probably easier going this way, because I'm gonna have to put something up here to catch this, and same with this, I'm gonna have to put something over here. But if I would have made it wider, I could just do it on one side. But Yep. I'm gonna have to make that wider when I do that corner over there. And eventually I'm gonna do the front corners too. They're in all right shape, but they're gonna be completely knocked out and redone. But anyway, I'm gonna put the closet back together. Say hey to J&K since I ain't seen them all day. And then say, time to stop. If you don't love learning, you're not living life. I hope you enjoyed that video at least as much as I enjoy life to make it so far. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you care to, and check out all my other videos or playlists. There's the Budgie Buddies, there's the Off-Grid Solar Solutions, and the RV camper repair that this is a part of, plus my up and coming and growing self-propelled bicycles, plus Social Security Officer Joshua, let's not forget.